As China continues to reel after this week's devastating earthquake, our next guest is getting ready to pack his bags and help out. Dr. Colin Yong is a volunteer for Rose Charities and the Association of Medical Doctors of Asia, and he joins us now. Dr. Yong, good to have you with us.
Good morning. How
do you go from working in modern BC Children's Hospital to an earthquake disaster zone?
Yes, I mean, this is not the first time. When the tsunami occurred, we did exactly the same thing. Now, obviously, in Canada, we have everything in place. But in China, where you have a certain disaster like this, you're going to have chaos. I mean, I think that's the first thing. And there are always two aspects of this kind of work. When you get there, you may not even find what you need. And you're going to be working in peripheral hospitals, which are very, very different. I think what we can do here is that not only can we provide some of the medical needs, but we can also provide the supplies and maybe some expertise. I mean, this is not to say that the Chinese doctors are unable to provide the kind of needs, but they need the manpower, they'll need the nursing staff, and I think getting the logistics in there to help. With a lot of people that are in a devastating situation.
It's such an overwhelming crisis. It's so staggering, the scope of it. Mm-hmm. Does it affect you emotionally, dealing in this kind of a disaster?
Yes, it does. I mean, I always feel that, it's very nice and easy for me to live here where, the sun is shining and living in a beautiful place and working in a hospital that's sparkling clean. When you get to places like this, I mean, you can feel it in your heart. I mean, I think that brings out, a part of you that tells me, why am I being a physician? Why am I a doctor? I think this really spells out.
Yeah,
it does. It does. Yeah.
Now you're a pediatrician,
That's
and
right,
we see thousands of children trapped in the rubble. We see great miracle stories as well. That must be a great inspiration for people working out in the field.
Yes, I mean it's really disheartening to think that a whole school has collapsed. I mean, you hear in the news, 200 students are trapped and they're caught in a situation where they'll never survive, or even if they did survive, there'll be major injuries. And I think it's very hard for me to say that, well, I'm sitting here, I'm a pediatrician, I have the skills, and also I have the expertise in dealing with a lot of emergency situations that I'm not going to go out there and help.
Well, Dr. Yong, you're hoping to go out next week, and we wish you all the best and safe travels as you head to China. And we will put a link, if you want more information, a link to Rose Charities on canadaam.ctv.
Thank you.
International aid is slowly getting into cyclone-devastated Burma. The United Nations says 2 of its planes carrying emergency relief items have landed in the country, but aid has yet to reach some remote areas of Burma. An estimated 1 million people are homeless after last weekend's cyclone, and there are now reports the death toll could top 100,000 people. For more, we're joined by Kirsten Reams. She's a Canadian aid worker waiting for a call to go into Burma to help. Thanks for joining us, Kirsten.
Hi.
Now, you have been to 3 disaster zones. You went to the tsunami and helped out there in 2004. Do you see some parallels with what was going on there and now in Burma?
Absolutely. When the disaster hit, you think, well, this might be a lot worse than the reports that we're getting. And with countries like this, there's so many people living in rural areas, and you don't know half of the injuries and illnesses that can start until you get in there.
So when you actually go into a country like this, where a lot of it's underwater right now, there's no hospitals nearby, what do? How do you set up, a place to help people?
That's exactly the battle. It ends up becoming kind of a logistical nightmare to find out where are the sick people, where are they, how many people are sick or just displaced and homeless. Everyone needs so much help, but from such different areas. You need medical, you need just a social worker, you need housing.
What impact does that have on workers like yourself, seeing people in such need?
I've gone a couple times, so there's something that makes me want to keep doing something like this. But it's devastating. It's awful. But the people there are just so gloriously happy to see aid and to see help, and they're happy despite these incredibly horrible circumstances.
Now, we know with the notorious regime in Burma, what about the soldiers? When you were in Indonesia, a lot of soldiers around too, what kind of reaction did you get from them?
Same thing in Indonesia. It was a little bit of a battle when we got there, thinking this is going to be a political hotspot to go to, and they were so grateful to have us there. I've got pictures of them sitting beside me smiling kind of thing, and I mean, I've never been to Burma. I have no idea what it would be like there, but the people in general are just so thankful that you're there helping.
Now, do you expect you'll be getting into Burma?
No idea at this point. We do have a group that's already set up in Burma, so that's very helpful for our charity that we can start sending them some financial support and money there. And we don't know at this point. We all need visas. It's difficult.
How do you feel about this, the delay that so many aid workers are facing?
It's so frustrating because it makes population diseases and everything just escalate even more, right? Sickness and the lack of nutrition and clean water, it just gets worse and worse.
Do you know how the members in Burma are doing right now?
We haven't heard.
It's too difficult to get any contact
no
with
communication.
them? But you want to go?
Absolutely.
Why?
Yeah. Each time I've gone, it's just the most incredible experience. It's scary, it's great, but it's very rewarding all at the same time.
Now, do you think there's one common thing that you're going to be dealing with a lot out there? What do you think is the most common problem that you're going to be facing?
Unfortunately, at this point, probably not a lot of severe injuries anymore. They're not there anymore. More a long-term diseases, that kind of stuff, communicable outbreaks, nutrition, clean water is such a big issue. Getting people into housing, figuring out who's been treated and how to get to people is the biggest deal.
That is the biggest challenge, definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Kirsten, and keep us posted if you do get the call.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks.